Are you ready? You think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down!
Hey guys, Liberty Band 20 here. I'm back. We are going to preview the 2014, 2015, 2016 season here for the Liberty Flames. First off, we are fresh off our very first playoff berth. We're over a month now. It's been awesome getting to see Liberty play. I unfortunately couldn't go. I was home, but I got to watch them a couple days before my birthday beat JMU for the first time in 6 contests. And to see how they play against Villanova was good. Did not go our way in some plays, but hey, doesn't matter. But yeah, here we go. I'm going to first talk about Delaware State. So Delaware State is in the MEAC. Last year their record was 2-10. They went 2-6 in their conference. They are freshly off another losing season. They have recently fired their head coach and have hired a new one, and he looks to be pretty good. He's been with a lot of programs. Louisville with Charlie Strong. He's worked even with Urban Meyer when he was in Florida, so he has a national title under his belt. So this game was gonna be an easy win, and then it turned into this might not be easy. We actually played them at home. This is the first time, I believe, in about 3 years we've actually had our first game at home instead of playing an FBS team. So this will be good to bring in the crowd right off the bat in September. I think it's September 12th. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, bringing Liberty back for our first home game is our opening game, not away. That allows us to bring in the home crowd. We get into it. Hey, we just got off of a great Big South championship run, but also a playoff run. They should be pretty decent. They are historical black school, and they don't get a lot of good recruits. But in 2007, they actually won their MEAC title at 10-2, and sadly, they just progressively gotten, I don't want to say bad, but weaker in some aspects. But we'll see how that goes. I think we'll win. We'll go through the preview series, of course, when it comes around that time during game week. Yeah, I'm excited for that. So the next one that I'm going to cover, these are all going to be non-conference games except the one big one, which is Coastal, of course. And the next one I'm going to talk about is West Virginia University, which is our first FBS team that we played this year. So now West Virginia, that's going to be a tough game. It won't be as tough, hopefully, as we've all learned that Clint Trickett, I believe their quarterback, actually had to retire due to concussions, so he is no longer playing. They've also lost their 2 best wide receivers to the NFL draft. So while that gives us kind of a little advantage to get into this game, it's still going to be tough, really, really tough. They're in the Big 12 now. It's just going to be probably an all-out shootout. They're going to be good. That's really all I can say about it. We have played them before a couple years ago. We were actually winning the game and ended up losing, but it put Liberty in a pretty good spot in the national spotlight. So did this past year. But it's going to be a great game. Hopefully we win. This one's going to be a really, really tough one. This is going to be one of these big ones that hopefully gets us back into the playoffs if we win it. Yeah, that's really all I got for West Virginia. It's going to be a really good game. Give us some publicity. You just never know what's going to happen. This is going to be our senior years for a lot of our guys, and we're going to show how Liberty can play in the big leagues. Basically, we play 2 FBS teams, West Virginia being the first one, and then Georgia State. I will cover Georgia State in a minute, but the next one I want to cover is the one I'm looking most forward to, honestly, is the JMU game here at Liberty in Lynchburg, Virginia. So JMU's next. So this game, JMU versus Liberty at Lynchburg, Virginia, and Williams Stadium. I've actually been to all 3 of the games that we've previously played them at. The first one was when we lost in the rain 27-10. That was my freshman year. The next year was 10-3 at Harrisonburg. That was my first away game here at Liberty, and the cool or here as far as a football fan being Liberty, and I actually still have the ticket in framing because that's an important thing to do. Is your first game, you don't want to lose the ticket. And then the third game was when we lost with 2 seconds left, 27-24. And then we had this game in the first round of the playoffs. You couldn't have picked a better matchup, really. I mean, first round, we have to, and we just go down the road to Harrisonburg. No one, I mean, we were evenly matched, and just going back and forth and watching that game was awesome. Probably my favorite thing was the fake field goal that just went for 25 yards and just finally winning a playoff game and beating JMU. So that was, you got 2-for-1, win our first playoff game, and then we beat JMU for the first time in 6 contests. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to be at that game really early. We should win. It's going to be a rivalry game. Both crowd. There's going to be, I'm sure, a visiting crowd like always. We're going to be there. Be early, be loud, we're red. It's going to be a very intense game. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll still be here, and by then I'll be an official alumni. So I will enjoy that. In the next really quick review, I'm going to go over Montana and Georgia State just to wrap this up. And yeah, so here comes Georgia State, Montana. Okay, so I made a little brief mistake to say to wrap this up. I still have Coastal to go through, so I'll do that at the end of this video. But Georgia State and Montana. First off, we'll start with Montana. Arguably one of the best FCS programs right now. They gave us a whooping in Montana. 31-16, I believe, was the final score. They're just big and powerful. We get to play them at home. That's possibly a potential playoff game. This is also a potential big win for a resume to go to the playoffs. I mean, it is. If you beat a good FCS team, that helps you. That helps your chances. And I'm hoping we can. Montana is very big. Um, the Grizzlies. I mean, they're properly named. It's going to be a hard fought game. I'm not quite sure how it'll turn out. Uh, Probably a defensive struggle. But we'll see. With our new offensive scheme, hopefully running more options, we should win. Now, Georgia State, I don't say this often. This is probably going to be a really easy win. They recently moved up a couple years ago to the FBS and just haven't had the luck. I'm unlike ODU, who has been around for 4 years, made the transition last year, and fully went into this year's FBS. Actually, did really well. Most programs don't, just like UMass. Georgia State has, and so the sad part is to say that we are the favorite is hard to fathom. But only being 2 to 3 years in the league and the FBS level, it's understandable. So we should win this one pretty good. That will be another FBS win for us. We beat App State last year in overtime for their homecoming, so it's nice to be the spoiler for once. But I just don't think it's going to be that good of a game for Georgia State. I just think it's going to be a blowout, a really big blowout. So we'll see. We'll wrap this really quick with Coastal, and that will be it. Now the big one, Coastal Carolina, we're going to win. It's at home. This will again decide who goes to the FCS playoffs, more or less likely. And for the Big South title, they were #1. We were their first loss. It always feels good to be that one, to just knock off #1, to do it as with the backup quarterback at Coastal, block a field goal, give them their first loss of the season, knock them down to a 7 seed in the FCS playoffs, and go to our own and just win that title and do it at Coastal. It's just one of the best feelings in the world. It's going to be a good game as always. Defense will be there. Offense, I'm sure will not be lack there, but we'll see what happens. I think we're going to win, but I'll go into detail more of that later. Thanks, guys. I do apologize for this video being way long, wicked longer than I anticipated, but I haven't been here in a while. But hey, I'm back. I'll be doing stuff for baseball and probably talking about the disappointing basketball season. But this is Liberty Band 20, and every day is game day. Go Flames.